The other night, I was rewatching the movie The Inside Man, the one with Denzel Washington and Clive Owen. And it was really a fascinating movie. It's one of those that pulls you in quietly as the plot develops and then slowly tightens the screws to get you stuck in it. But what struck me this time wasn't the robbery or the tension of the plot developing. It was how focused everyone was on the surface of all the things that were going on. The bangs, the loud noise, the pressure situation, the urgency to get stuff done. The imagery was of police scrambling, hostages reacting, everyone trying to control what they could see. But the real work wasn't happening on the outside. The real work was happening on the inside, the plan of the mastermind. They were quiet, they were patient, they were moving methodically. And at some point, sitting there watching it unfold, I had this thought. That's how most of us treat our happiness. See, we stay locked in on the outside, the circumstances, the people, the timing, the outcomes of stuff. And we tell ourselves things like, when things settle down, that's when I'll feel better. When they change, that's when I'll be happier. See, when all of this slows down a little bit, that's when I'll finally have some peace. But just like in the movie, we're watching the wrong thing. Because happiness isn't something that gets handed to you once the chaos stops. Happiness, it's an inside job. And that realization can feel uncomfortable at first. See, because it removes the excuses. It takes away the waiting. It actually asks something of you to do. But I can tell you, it also gives you something back. It gives you power. See, in the inside man, everyone thought the control lived on the outside. What was happening outside of the bank? What was happening with the police? The bigger the responses or the explosions, the louder the moves, the faster the decisions. But the truth was really just simpler. Control lived in the discipline that the protagonist and antagonist had. It was in the bank robber's restraint. It was in knowing that they had a plan and sticking to it made sense even when everything around was getting chaotic. And this is the part that I believe most people miss when it comes to their happiness. They think their happiness requires more doing or more fixing or maybe more reacting to everything that's going around them. When in reality, happiness requires more awareness. See, your inner world doesn't do a good job of regulating itself. Your mind doesn't default to happiness or peace. Your boundaries don't enforce themselves. See, all of that is actual work. It's quiet work. It's daily work. And reality is no one else can do it for you. Not your partner, not your family, not your job, not the next milestone that you're chasing. But what matters truly is support. The environment matters. Your community matters. But none of those actually replace your responsibility. See, in the movie, no one else can see the plan because it didn't really look dramatic. It looked boring. No one could pick up on it. And as I watched it again, I found myself not being able to pick it up. But that's often how inner work feels. Choosing a different perspective when it would be easier to spiral or crash out. Creating boundaries when it would just be simpler to just give in or comply. Slowing down enough when everything around you feels urgent. See, that's not flashy. That's not sexy. But you know what it is? Effective. And here's the part that I really want us to sit with for a moment. Taking responsibility for your happiness isn't pressure, believe it or not. It's actually relief. Because when you stop waiting for the outside to fix the inside, you stop giving your power away. You stop living in reaction mode. You stop trying to stop tying your peace to someone else's behavior or actions or attitudes. You stop postponing your joy until conditions improve. You start to ask yourself completely different questions when you realize it's an inside job. You ask yourself things like, what am I actually feeling right now? What is it that I'm avoiding because maybe it's a little uncomfortable? What beliefs are pulling me out of alignment? How about this? What stories am I telling myself that cause me to feel this way? And then lastly, what boundary would bring me back to center of myself? See, all of this is an inside job. It's not about being perfect. It's not about constant toxic positivity. It's just honesty and intention. And I'll tell you, by the end of Inside Man, everything that was chaotic felt all of a sudden like it just made sense. The reveal was just smooth. And I guess, spoiler alert, you may be wondering, how did the robber get away with it? He was in the bank the whole time. While everybody was watching the exits, the negotiators, the hostages, the pressure of everything, the answer was just hidden in plain sight. And that's exactly where you'll find your happiness too. Because it's been inside you this whole time. It hasn't been in your circumstances, not in someone else's changing and flip-flopping, not in the next milestone finally arriving. It's inside your choices, inside your awareness. How about this? It's inside the way you speak to yourself when no one's listening. Happiness isn't about something you stumble upon once life finally decides to cooperate. It's something that you build quietly from the inside out along the way. And when you realize that, something shifts, something moves. You can stop scanning the world seeking permission just to feel okay. You stop postponing peace until everything just perfectly lines up. You stop giving your inner state away for all this external noise and chaos. You start tending to what actually belongs to you. Your perspective, your boundaries, your meaning that you have for life. And guess what? None of this makes life easier. It just makes it a little more true to who you are. You start to enjoy the process a little bit more. So if you've been waiting for some clarity, relief, or how about this, waiting for something to change so that happiness can show up, here's your reminder. Check on the inside. Because the work you're looking for isn't out there. It never was. It never will be. It was always on the inside. And as always, guys, I love you much.